Welcome back. This is Create by Fire, and this is monthly monetization. In this video, we're going to go video by video for everything that was created 2 months ago and go over the 30-day growth, as well as everything created last month and go over the initial stats. We'll also be going over channel stats as a whole, the Amazon affiliate link stats, and the trajectory based on the current growth. So let's get into it. All right, so before I jump into it, I know that this video is behind. This is already the 9th, and I am hoping to get that video out tonight and then get back on track in March. So these first few videos, the December videos, they're really not a lot to mention, so I'm going to skip through a whole bunch of them. Most of them either have no changes or they have like 1 extra view or maybe 2 extra views or something like that. But I'm going to skip through most of it except for the Black Ops. So this one, the only reason why I'm not skipping over this one, I just want to mention that it still hasn't really performed at all. So it's only had 3 views, which is a little bit surprising that it didn't get any additional traction for it being Black Ops. I would have thought it would have gotten a little bit more. And then the subsequent highlights video, which is fairly similar, it did do a little bit better. It got 5 views and it actually got some real watch time. This one had 0, right? The episode 1. And then the highlights had 0.8. And there was actually an extra view recently too. So this is doing a little bit better, but still, nonetheless, it's still not what I would have expected. I would have thought it, would have gotten 20, 30 views or something like that, but apparently not. So I still have a whole shitload of videos left to put out. I have like 32 more Black Ops videos that are ready to go. Actually 33 now, I believe. And I just have to go through and edit them and put them out. But I've just been playing Heroes of Hammerwatch, so been getting those videos out instead. But moving on from there, and this is actually technically January's video, though I kind of consider it December. But moving on from there, the first real January video we have is the monthly monetization video from last month. So this video is pretty well the same as the other monthly monetization videos. So we have a kind of a quick drop off near the beginning and 20 views, 1.2 watch time hours. If you compare that to the first monetization, same thing, quick drop off. And this one has 30 views, 1.6, a little bit higher. And then the second monthly monetization was 19 and 1.5 with another quick drop off. So pretty similar to those videos. And this one had a initial drop off after 30 seconds down to 45%. And then the rest of the drop off pretty soon after that, 2 minutes and 20 seconds, we're down to 15%. And then it kind of stays down there for the rest of it. So this was a 13.9%. We had 7.1 and 8.7. So I guess it is a little bit higher in terms of average percent viewed. So you have 20 views, 1.2 watch time hours, and a gain of 1 subscriber. So that's pretty good. And seeing if there's anything interesting here. As usual, we kind of peaked out around the 4-day mark, and it stayed pretty flat after that. That's pretty standard. 3 minutes and 31 seconds of average view time and 1,900 impressions, almost 2,000 impressions. These two had 600 impressions and 1,200. So it is better in terms of impressions as well. So that's pretty good. But yeah, I think that's probably all there is to mention for this one. And then we'll get into the Heroes of Hammerwatch content videos. All right, so now getting into the Heroes of Hammerwatch videos. So I have these broken up episode by episode where there's a highlights and an uncut or mostly uncut. 99% of it's there. And so for the uncut version, I got 3.8% average percent viewed. And then on the highlights, there was 4.2%. So these are a bit low in comparison, but these are longer videos. This one's 2.5 hours, and the other one is 1 hour and 13 minutes. And as usual, there's a quick drop off at the beginning. So the first couple of minutes, This one's a little bit, more stretched out than usual, but after the first few minutes, we're down to 30%. And then after another few more minutes, up to a little less than 10 minutes, we're down to 12%. But, and then at some point, it kind of almost zeroes out when you get about an hour and a half in. This one did do pretty well compared to a lot of my other videos. I mean, 49 views is pretty good, but 4.7 watch time hours, I'm pretty sure is a record for watch time hours for one video. I have to double check that, but that's quite a bit. So this one did do substantially better than a lot of the other videos there. You can see from the bar here. And after the 4-day mark, it did get most of it, but it did have a little bit of trickle up after that. So that's a bit different than usual. But 49 is definitely on the higher side, especially for what I have been getting recently. The typical in this period, it says 3 to 20, which is, I haven't been getting as much lately. Previously, it was like 20 to 30. So this is still higher than even my old average before. So yeah, that one's pretty good. And then the highlights video is fairly similar in terms of being higher than the average. After 4 days, it did peak off and went pretty flat after that. So that one is kind of more as expected. This one did net a subscriber though, so that was a pretty good plus. Now for episode 2, the retention graph is a little bit interesting. It says the average percent viewed was 5.7%, but yet the graph says that it held on to 30% to the end. So there was initial drop off to 40% after 40 seconds, and then it was pretty well flat after that for the most part. I mean, there was a little bit of dip down to 30, but then it stayed at 30 for the rest of the time. So if it was 30 for the rest of the time, and this is supposed to represent the average, then why does the average say 5.7? I don't really understand that, but that's how that one went. The highlights one was a little bit different, more like what you might expect it to actually have been. So it had the initial drop off, and it's down to 38% after 20 seconds, and then it's down after 2 minutes, about 3 minutes, it's down to 10%, and it kind of stays almost zeroed out from there. This is more like what I might expect it to be. But anyway, the length of this one was 1 hour and 7 minutes. This one was 33 or 30, almost 34 minutes. The views were about the same, but the watch time hours on the main episode were in fact better. This started to make me believe that maybe I shouldn't bother with the highlights videos because the main videos are doing better, but I kept with it anyway, and we'll go over some of the future ones. But I'm starting to wonder if it's the other way around. I don't know. But so yeah, this one got 1.7 watch time hours, which is still really solid, and 26 views. So that's really good. No subscribers on this one. And then this one had 27 views and 0.5 watch time hours. Still all right. Episode 3, this is now getting into the territory of the last 2-ish weeks. And this one has not received 10 views, so it hasn't gotten an audience retention yet. So I can't look at that one. And this one is the highlights. It did reach that, so we can take a look at that. The average percent viewed is only 0.3%, so that's really, really low. This one dropped off to 0 basically instantly in the first less than minute, and then, of course, it was basically 0 from there on. So this one got 12 views, but only got 0.1 watch time hours. And then the full video ended up getting 8 views, 0.3 watch time hours, and also a subscriber loss. Now, my best guess for the subscriber loss was someone who either watched one of the other episodes and they decided to jump off at this point, or they were one of the ones that kind of watched some of these kind of videos, like where the monthly monetization, and they decided they didn't want to look at game content or something of that nature. That's my best guess. So not super important to focus on a loss of 1 subscriber, I think, because it's it's kind of getting into the minutia of details. If this was if I had thousands and thousands of subscribers and I lost 100 or something like that, then that might have more bearing. So at the point of episode 3, we're starting to dip down in numbers. I think this does start to turn around a bit, but these numbers are a bit lower. On to episode 4, we're starting to pick back up again in terms of views. So the main video, the uncut, got 14 and 0.8 watch time hours. And as usual, there's an initial drop off within the first couple of minutes. That drops down to 21%. It stays kind of bumpy from there, and then it ends up dropping off pretty well after 32 minutes and goes fairly flat after that. This one is 1 hour and 12 minutes, and the highlights version is 34 minutes. The highlights did get even steeper drop off. It was 42 seconds in, it's down to 9%, and it goes flat after that. But it got more views, so that's also interesting, right? So this one got 23 views, this one got 14, but they didn't stick around for the highlights as much as they stuck around for the main video. So this had ended up getting 0.8 watch time hours with less views than this one did. It only got 0.3. Something else to kind of note here, this one did follow the 4-day pattern that it usually does, where it drops off after 4 days. This one didn't even start really getting views until the 4th day, and then it picked up and went to about the, almost the 6th day. So this one is a little bit interesting that it kind of diverged from what usually happens with these. At this point, we're entering February videos, but I'll take a quick look at them. So here we have episode 5 and 6. We'll go ahead and open up all of those. Those are February 2nd, February 3rd, February 6th, and February 7th. So these are still very new videos. They don't have retention graphs. I don't think any of them do. Oh, actually, this one does. It hit 16 views. But episode 5, we had 5 views for the main, for the uncut, and no watch time hours. We have 16 views for the highlights and 0.9 watch time hours, which is a pretty good jump up. And this one does have a retention graph, so down to 13% after the first minute, and then it's kind of flat from there for the rest of it. This is a 52-minute video, and the uncut is 1 hour and 43 minutes. So this one is pretty good. I think it did pretty well. Looking at the retention, once again, 4 days in, or not retention, but views, it dies off after about 4 days. And this one very similarly dies off after 4 days. Looking at episode 6, we have 4 views and 0.1 watch time hours. This one hasn't reached 4 days yet, so we'll see what happens. It might be like, that other one where it shot up after it hit 4 days. I don't know. We'll see. But 3 days in, it only has 4 views and 0.1 watch time hours. And then the highlights has 6 views and 0.4 watch time hours. This one, once again, not even close to the 4-day mark. So we'll see how this one progresses. 1,000 impressions, 500 impressions, 1,600 impressions, 1,200 impressions. So the average seems to be, in the ballpark of 1,300 maybe impressions. I have several more of these videos ready to go for the Heroes of Hammerwatch. I have episode 7 that's about to come out, I think tomorrow. I have to double check the calendar, but I have a whole bunch already recorded and edited and ready to go. I have to re-render them because I made a mistake. But the point is, I have episode 7 through 14 already ready to go. Episode 15 I'm in the middle of working on, and I'll probably have more episodes surely before I get through all of these videos. I got behind in all of that, so that's why I have such a discrepancy between what's out there so far and what I have done. So I am going to try to speed those up, put them out quicker, see how that affects the traction for these videos, see if they increase or decrease or what happens. I don't know. We'll see, but I'm going to start trying to put them out closer to daily, but we'll see. After I do catch up on the Heroes of Hammerwatch, I'm going to go back and start editing all of these Black Ops videos and get caught up on those and start pushing those out as well. So hopefully between all of those videos, I can start getting a lot more views and watch time hours, and hopefully a few subscribers as well. All right, so on to channel stats. There are some interesting things here. So last month we had 14.5% average percent viewed. This month we're down to 7.8%. So that is a substantial drop. However, the average view duration has actually went up by 9 seconds. So it was only 2 minutes and 20 seconds before. So they're just longer videos that they're watching for a bit longer than they have before, but percentage of the total video is less than what they have before, if that makes sense. Then we have views that were at 711 last month, and now they're up to 960. So that's a pretty substantial jump. We'll cover watch time hours and subscribers later. And then for impressions, another giant jump. We had 37,500 last month, and now it's up to 53,000. So that's pretty huge. And then 0.1% less on the click-through rate. So it was 1.3, and now it's down to 1.2. So as usual, this is ordered showing only the top 5 here. So the top 5 videos viewed. So the top 4 were kind of earlier videos, the very first video, and then of course one in October, two October maybe, I don't know, October, November kind of range for these 3. And then more recently, though, we had another jump back up doing Heroes of Hammerwatch. So Heroes of Hammerwatch has been a bit of a revival, so that's helped. We'll go ahead and take a look at watch time hours. So once again, earlier videos used to kind of be the winners for that, the same kind of time range, but since then, the Heroes of Hammerwatch videos have kind of started to bump this up over into the January range. We actually have, for a single day, the most ever gained was Heroes of Hammerwatch 2 Episode 1, so that's a new record. It's been quite a while. This one has been holding the record since the very beginning, the original video. This finally took the victory on that and has taken first place. So 2 hours or 2 minutes and 1 second, or 2 hours and 1 minute, or wow, 2.01 hours is the new record for watch time hours for one day. For impressions, it's probably going to look fairly similar. You had, well, actually in the middle, that's right. The beginning didn't really have impressions, but the middle sort of started to get a lot of impressions, and then it died off. Looks like the Heroes of Hammerwatch one kind of popped that back up a little bit, but still it's kind of mostly back here. In terms of subscribers gained, there's probably not a lot to look at here, but it does look like, oh, I guess this one got one, so this made it to the chart. But this is the YouTube growth monthly monetization 3. So moving over to the total section, we can kind of see a little bit of a different picture here because it's an aggregation of everything. So there was definitely a lull in the December period. Most of that was because I didn't actually put out very many videos. And then it's kind of jumped back up again in January, and it's kind of popping off again. I'm really hoping to see some of that start to incline upward quite a bit with more of these videos coming out. Heroes of Hammerwatch, Black Ops, other videos. I'm still deciding what kind of videos I want to put out. Maybe some other gaming videos. I don't know. We'll see. Moving on to the watch time hours. Once again, we were kind of like bouncing up and down, kind of flattened out a little bit in December, got a little bit of a jump back up, went flat again, and then boom, with Heroes of Hammerwatch stuff, it kind of shot back up and has been popping off. So that's been nice to see that. All right, so now moving on to the Amazon affiliate links. This month wasn't that interesting. We had only 14 clicks, so that brings us to a total of 241 clicks. We had 0 ordered items, which brings us to a total of 33 ordered items, and we didn't earn anything for this month. I don't remember that shows, I think here. Total earnings, $0, which brings us to a total of $3.60. I did find out, by the way, that there is a requirement of at least $10 in order to actually get paid. So the $3.60, the reason why I haven't received it yet is because I haven't hit the $10 mark yet. So that just gets rolled over into the next month and the next month until you reach $10. As I mentioned before, I do need to start getting some of these orders in that I get credit for. Otherwise, this account, I think, gets closed off. I think you have to get 2 or 3 of them within the time frame of 6 months or something like that. It's been a few months, so I really need to probably get a few more. If you want to help out, all you have to do is just kind of go in and click the links, and then within 24 hours purchase something. I don't exactly know. I think everything pretty well qualifies as long as you're not friends or family, and it would help out. You know, you don't have to actually buy the item that you're clicking. You just need to click the link and then go buy pretty much anything on Amazon. I would appreciate it, not for the money, but just to keep this account rolling. I don't really want to have to like remake one. Or I don't exactly know how it works, but it would be appreciated. All right, moving on to stats and trajectory. So the stats obviously aren't that great, and so the trajectory is terrible, as it usually is. But this section is just for fun for now until we actually start getting some traction. So we're sitting at 53 out of 1,000 subscribers. That's 5.3% of the total needed for monetization. That's up 2 from last month's 51. So not too much there, but then we have 39 out of 4,000 watch time hours, which is 0.98% of the way there. That's almost 1%. So that's a big milestone for this channel. And that is up 12 from last month's 27. So that's a pretty big jump. So I am happy about that one. This is all over the course of 134 days. So based on that trajectory, you know, we can come up with a kind of ETA for subscribers and watch time hours. Last month, I calculated them incorrectly. I noticed that this month. This time I wrote down the formula so I wouldn't screw it up. But we're on track for 2,529 days until we get the 1,000 subscribers, which is January 13th, 2032. So not too far away. Last month was December 13th, 2029. So we're up about, what is that? Two-ish years since last month. So we're on obviously a downward trend there. However, on the watch time hours, we're down to 13,674 days for watch time. And that is July 19th, 2062, compared to last month's, which was November 19th, 2063. So that's, we've jumped back a year. So that's good. We're making a little bit of progress. Obviously, like I said, these stats right now are pretty much just a joke. It's just for fun to look at right now to see what it'll be like. If I'm, really going to actually make it there, I'm going to have to speed this up quite a bit. I think that the Heroes of Hammerwatch, the Black Ops videos will help turn that around some. I don't really know how well, but it has definitely made a positive impact so far. I'm hoping to increase that and, get to something more attainable, like, within the next year would be nice, that sort of thing. But I think that this channel, although it has its struggles, I'm going to keep pushing forward and trying to make it to what I've been, I set out to do, make it a successful channel. I'm far away from that so far, but sometimes these things take time and to get things straight and figured out what works for your channel and what doesn't. So I'm going to keep pressing forward, and I hope you can join me. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe to join me on my journey from zero to YouTube hero. This is Create by Fire.